We meet so many youth every day. They're not astray. The youth today, and of course, with hundreds of millions of youth, you can't make one blanket statement. Naturally, there will be youth who have gone astray. Just as there are youth in America who have gone astray, and youth in England who have gone astray, and youth in Australia who have gone astray. But as a general rule, what I have seen is that the youth, whether it's the youth of Bharat, the youth of America, the youth of England, the youth of Australia, the youth anywhere, are actually doing fantastically. However, one very important thing has happened in Bharat that makes us think they've gone astray. And that is, they have stopped being unquestionably obedient. Right? You go back 1 generation, 2 generations, right? Aapki mummy, ya aapka papa, ya aapki nani, ya dadi ne aapko kuch bola. You would say ji, and you would do it. The idea of saying why would never occur to you. By chance, agar why bola, so it would be very likely ki tappar mara. Right? I mean, this is sort of the culture. Tum kya samajhte apne aap ko? तुम गुरु बन गए क्या? Why मेरे से पूछा? फिर तुम्हारा थप्पड़ मारा. And you learn very quickly. Don't ask why. Just do what you are told. And that is in many ways how this culture has run for millennia. In a tradition, in a culture in which obviously we respect the elders, but that respect takes the form of obedience, unquestioning obedience. A parent tells you something, you say, Ji. End of story. Ji, full stop. These days what's happening is the children are getting an education system that in many ways is much more like a Western education system. In my school, for example, if there were a question on an exam, it was very rare, almost never, that we had simply yes, no, true, false questions. There would be a question, you'd have to give the right answer, but you would also have to explain why you thought that answer was true. And if you got the wrong answer, but you gave a good explanation, you might not get full credit, but you would get 70-80% credit. कि चलो answer is wrong, लेकिन सोचने का ढंग बहुत बढ़िया है, ठीक से सोचा. थोड़ा समझ तो नहीं पाए बेचारा, लेकिन ठीक से सोचा तो you get 80%, 70%. That system is coming much more into India. Children are learning to ask questions. In my school, the teacher would ask us, okay, you've all read the homework, who has any questions? And if nobody asked, she would pick on somebody. Chalo, aapne padha, aap kuch prashna pucho. Thoda samajh gaye? And you'd be like, ji. Then of course she would ask you something you didn't know the answer. She'd say, ab chalo, pucho, jo nahi samajh pai. They wanted you to ask questions. It was rooted in ask questions, be inquisitive. Don't just take what we say. Figure it out for yourself. School is not about just memorization. It's about learning how to think. Now that system has come more in India, in education. Also with media and social media, they're getting much more exposed to the Western way. So now what's happening? Parents say to their children, "Chalo Bhagwan ji ke upar tilak lagao." Bachche pucha, "Kyon? Thappar mara." Kaise pucho? Now, the children were not being rude. They've not gone astray. They really sincerely are simply wanting to know, why do we do this? Why do we put tilak on Bhagwan in the mandir? Why do we put tilak on ourselves? Why are we vegetarians? Why do we do parikrama in the mandir? Why do we take achman? Why do we do puja? Why do we do abhishek? What does this mean? And as parents, the dilemma is a lot of times we don't know the answer. Humne kabhi nahi pucha. We were told tilak lagao, humne laga diya, bas baat khatam ho gaya. So in many ways, we don't actually know the answer. So when our children ask us, we feel insulted. Why are they asking? But we also feel a little bit uncomfortable because we don't actually know what to say. And it's a lot easier to just say, because I told you so. Jo main kehti hu na wo to karo. Baat khatam. The problem is these children are not taking it these days. It is no longer a generation of aapne keh diya bas, wo kafi hai. It's a generation of, I want to understand why. Which gives us as parents, as grandparents, as aunts, as uncles, as teachers, actually a beautiful challenge. When you have answers for them, they are more committed in many ways than you are, than your parents were, because they actually get it. They're not just doing it kardnaye. With so many of the older generations, you do things just kyunki kardnaye. Puja Swamiji always does a very funny impression of people, kyunki naturally Pura Vishwa mein jaane ka mocha mila in everybody's home, and naturally in people's homes they have mandirs, they do arti, but he does a very funny impression of people jo arti kar rahe, om jay jagash, acha mera tiffin pack kar do, shahadi, and then acha do this, do that. Matlab arti ki beech mein they're yelling instructions at family members, at the housekeeper, at something else. They're answering the phone. Acha main dobara karta hu, but now they're doing arti kyunki supposed to do arti. But the mind is not with arti. The mind is on, theek se mera tiffin pack kiya ki nahi kiya? Mera shawl press kiya ki nahi kiya? Bachche ne nashta khaya ki nahi khaya? This generation, either they're going to do it, and if they do it, they're going to do it fully because they understand why they're doing it, or they're not going to do it. But if they don't do arti, they may be making sandwiches for poor people, or figuring out a way to have cremations that take less wood, or figuring out a way to more efficiently harvest rainwater so that we have drinking water. The challenge for us is how to give them this culture, how to give them these sanskaras in a way that actually makes sense to them. And the truth is, Sanatan Dharma is actually a dharma of science. We have the reasons. There is nothing in Sanatan Dharma that is just kyunki wo to kardna hai. No reason. Everything has a reason. And it gives us this beautiful opportunity to learn the reason. Just to give you an example, vegetarianism. So you say to our children, ki hum vegetarian hai. So they say, why? Their friends are all eating hamburgers and hot dogs and chicken. They say, why? We say, because Go Mata Bhagwan hai. Go apni mata hai. वो कहते वो तो मेरा माता नहीं है. मैंने उसे तो जन्म नहीं लिया, ना मैं उसको भगवान मानती हूँ. Then we are stuck for tapamara. And we become frustrated. Or we say things like, because Vasudev Kutumbakam, they are all our sisters and brothers. They say, that chicken is not my sister. And then you're stuck because you have nothing else to tell them. We've got these two reasons. Go Mata hai, and she's holy, and all of the animals are our sisters and brothers. But if that's not part of their worldview, we have nowhere else to go. Ya tapar mara? Yeah, we become frustrated and we give up. But if you actually say to them, we are vegetarians because we believe in feeding everybody. We believe in equality. And the meat industry actually is one of the greatest causes of world hunger. We are vegetarians because out of 16 pounds of grain, 16 pounds of anaj, wheat, rice, corn, soy, I can get 16 pounds of bread, chapatis, pasta, rice, or I can get 1 pound of meat. And I do not believe that I deserve the food of 15 other people. Isliye main vegetarian khati hu. Then they say, oh, they understand. We are vegetarian because the meat industry is the single greatest cause of climate change. Because the Amazon rainforest is being deforested to graze the cows who become hamburgers. Watch how fast your youth become vegetarians. I've seen it. I speak from experience. So it gives us the opportunity to actually learn the reasons. This is why so many years ago Puja Swamiji founded the Encyclopedia of Hinduism project in America. For the same reason. Because the children, the Indian children growing up in America, would come home from school and they would say to their parents, Ki everybody says we are this, we are that, why do we? Parents had no answer because they had just been obedient to their parents. That was what respect meant. And because they had no answer, the children were going astray. He said, we will give them answers. And he brought together thousands of the world's scholars to put together what became an 11-volume Encyclopedia of Hinduism. Why do we do these things? What does it mean? So, what I would say to you is, this generation of youth is the first generation that's really giving us as the elders the opportunity to go back and learn our stuff. To really give answers, to find answers. Why do we put on tilak? Beautiful reasons. All of it. Why do we do parikrama? Beautiful reasons. But you have to make it meaningful to them. And it also gives us a beautiful opportunity to be humble. And to admit, chalo, mujhe bhi malum nahi hai. Chalo saath hi saath Rishikesh chale. We'll ask. Yeah, these days we'll go on Google, we'll search, we'll find out. But don't dismiss them. They actually want to be part of the culture. The other dilemma is, speaking very honestly, we as the elders are not giving them a very good example. So for example, we're very good at just doing the rituals, but we're not so good at actually living them. And so for example, we say yam or niyam, right? Ahimsa, satya, asteya, apigraha. These are how we live. Brahmacharya. And we teach them to our children. This is how we live. Then we're going somewhere. We're supposed to meet people. Phone bachte hai. We're running late. Phone bachte hai. We tell our child, chalo uthao, unko bol do, hum rasta pe hain. Now usko to pata hai, hum rasta pe nahi hai. Gard pe hain. Tayari mein hai. But you've just told them, usko bol do, hum rasta pe hain. Now, later on, then our children start lying to us. and we say कि I don't know what's happened, बच्चे झूठ बोलने लगे. Well, ये किसने सिखाया? हमने सिखाया. We tell them, don't grab, don't hoard, be spiritual. Then we go to a shadi. In the car ride back from the shadi, we're talking about somebody's diamond, somebody's sari. We're gossiping. We're giving them these teachings of materialism, of gossip, of negativity. We actually have to set the example. We have to be the ones who really live this. And then the children get it. When you sit for meditation, when you sit for puja, and you stand up from puja, your children should be able to see the difference. Oh, Papa was very stressed. Wo mandir mein gaye, wapas aaye like a changed man. Wow, kya asar ho gaya. Not dhyan se ut ke, and then you're yelling, ki why is my breakfast not ready? Acha, how dare you wear this? Acha ye, acha wo. Then they think, kya fark pada? Fayda kya hui? Aadha ghante kharab kar diya. माँ को हेल्प तो किया नहीं, बेटे कुछ किया नहीं, फिर उठ के गाली देने लगे. ये क्या ध्यान है? So it actually is a beautiful opportunity for us, because these kids are very different. They're not going to just take it, as I said. They've got that sort of scientific mindset. We have to actually live it, not just preach it now. And then you'll see how on track they are. But we have to make the culture something alive, something meaningful, something that they see benefit in. Not just something that we do kyunki we've been doing it for thousands of years or karna hai. It should be fresh in today, not just history.